Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about A Ring of Endless Light. A Ring of Endless Light is a 2002 Disney Channel original movie. It's directed by Greg Beeman, cinematography by Rodney Charters, editing by Terry Stokes, music by Phil Marshall, and is written by Marita, Giovanni, and Bruce Graham. The film is based off a book of the same name written by Madeleine L'Engle. Shall we compare? Vicky is on Seven Bay Island with her family visiting her dying grandfather. Vicky's family attends the commander's funeral where she runs into her ex, Zachary. Zachary tells her he indirectly caused the commander's death because the commander saved him from a suicide attempt. This sends Vicky on a long spiral thinking about death and how it looms everywhere. Meanwhile, she's stuck in 3 romances between Leo, Zachary, and Adam. Vicky is helping Adam study dolphins and their communication with humans. She finds she has an unspoken telepathic connection to the dolphins that extends to Adam, but he pulls away. On a date with Zachary, Vicky finds out her grandfather has hemorrhaged and has gone to the hospital. Vicky gets to the hospital and sees her friend Benny, whose mother leaves her with her so she can go find a doctor. Benny dies in Vicky's arms. Vicky enters an almost catatonic state and her family is unable to console her. Suddenly, Adam is there and says she reached out to him with their connection. Her grandfather tells her it's difficult to stay focused on the positive, but she must or she'll be consumed. Adam takes Vicky to the ocean where her dolphin friends are able to break through her mental darkness and get her to play with them and have the light again. The end. Based on this summary, there are some major differences between the movie and the book. First of all, there's no Leo. There's only 2 boys, and it's Zachary and Adam. Zachary, they got rid of the trigger warning attempt, and they got rid of this whole, mental darkness. They got rid of Benny. I have no idea who Benny is. They got rid of a lot of it and really just kept some of the bare bones. They kept that she can communicate with dolphins and that her and Adam kind of, connect over that, but he doesn't super have the connection like she does or like he does in the book, it seems. And especially because they don't communicate to each other. Her grandfather does pass away, but she has no friend named Benny that passes away. Her parents aren't there until the end. And they're more focused on trying to save the dolphins from these drift nets. They took away a lot of the death themes. There is definitely a focus on death because of some of the poems that the grandfather reads to her and stuff the dolphins potentially dying and all this kind of stuff. So there's a focus on death, but it's not anywhere near what the book does. And also the book seems like it's very focused on how when you first encounter death as a teen and how you cope with that and realize that it's really awful losing people you love, but then how you have to stay focused on the positive and live your life. It seems very much like that's what the book is about. And this one is very much live your truest self, but it's just not the same. The film stars Mischa Barton as Vicky, Ryan Merriman as Adam, Jared Padalecki as Zachary, and James Whitmore as grandfather. They filmed in Australia, and apparently it received a lot of negative flack because of how different it is from the book. Listen, the performances were really good. It was visually stunning. While I have some opinions, it still was one singular vision that everyone executed really well, so I'd say that's a really great job on Beeman's part. This was really stunning, especially for a decom. I know some decoms have been really wonderful, but this lighting specifically for this decom was really stunning, especially the underwater scenes. I think these are some of the best underwater scenes we've had in a decom yet. I think this was incredibly well paced, except it was a little rushed sometimes, but I think that might have been more of a script issue than an edit issue. But I think this was really well paced for the most part, especially the beginning and immediately just totally diving in and chewing into these characters and just meeting Zachary, meeting Adam, having Vicky and her siblings and her grandfather. I became very invested quickly without it being what's going on, and I think the edit is a big contribution to that. I think the music kind of steals the show here. I think it might be the strongest part of this film. The music fits the theme and tone of this movie perfectly, and I feel is all at really great places. And on top of that, specifically the swell in the music right as the grandfather dies, it took me out. It was so stunning. I was like, oh, this music and this whole movie has been so good, but that specifically was just genuinely stunning. I think the characters themselves were really interesting and pretty well written, and I loved the relationship Vicky had with each and every one of them, and it really made it like Vicky is the main character in this movie. We are with Vicky. Every character is like in relation to Vicky, so we only see these other characters when they're with Vicky. We never see these characters without Vicky. Vicky is our main character, and I think we've got like a couple scenes where Ryan is like meeting with like the doctor, Ryan Merriman, Adam is meeting with the doctor to try and get her to like do something about the drift nets, but Vicky's like walking up into that scene, so I feel like for the most part there isn't a scene that doesn't have Vicky in it, and I kind of am obsessed with that. But I also think the arcs are interesting in this one. Zachary goes from, spoiled rich boy, which he's still spoiled rich boy by the end, but he does the right thing and is a little bit touched by Vicky, but he also doesn't get a resolution at the end, which I thought was so interesting. Like right at the end, Vicky is leaving with her family on the ferry, and her and Adam have this beautiful sweet goodbye moment, but she doesn't get anything with Zachary. The last time we see Zachary is when Zachary witnesses Adam and Vicky having a little handhold moment after Adam just died. So what? And that's the last we see Zachary. So I thought that was really interesting and kind of a bummer for Zachary's part. I feel like he could have had a little bit more of a closure. But then I feel like the intention is for Adam to not be so sciencey and for him to be touched by the fact that some things are unexplained, and for Vicky to grow and be more confident and stuff like that. And I think that's done, but I don't know, part of it just seems a little bit lacking. But at the end of the day, it was really good. I loved an exchange between Zachary and Vicky where Zachary has just done something because he got a little jealous and was trying to show off, and Vicky really, really upset, so she was leaving, and he was like, I'm sorry, okay, I just like you, and she said, start trying to like yourself, and left. Shook me to my core, because wow, how incredibly deep and moving. Loved it. Jared Padalecki in a DCOM, never thought I would ever see that. I had no idea he did this. I think around the same time he started Gilmore Girls, so that's insane to me. Ryan, I think this is his third DCOM, because he did Smart House, and he did Luck of the Irish, and I think this. I have a feeling he might have been, was he in another one? Just as a side person? I can't remember, but he's really grown up, and it's crazy to see him, and he did so well in this, and I think he does a good job of playing similar but different characters, and because he's very different in this than he is in Luck of the Irish or in Smart House. And, he's come a long way. He's so grown up now, so it's awesome to see him in this. And then Mischa Barton. I've only ever seen her in the OC, which is what she's most famous for, and I didn't watch the OC, I've seen clips, and from what I can tell, vastly different. So good on her, I guess. Crazy to see her in a DCOM. I haven't seen her in eons since she was on the OC. I have no idea what she's up to, but hope all is well. And then James Whitmore did a fantastic job as grandfather. I loved him. I wanted to eat up every ounce of him. He was just so cute and such a wonderful, sweet grandfather. When Zach says to dream of him and then she dreams of Adam, my reaction was priceless and I'll never be able to replicate it. I was also very surprised they actually showed a dolphin birth in a Disney Channel original movie. Not that it's, graphic content by any means, it's just natural. But I feel like at the time, that surprises me because I feel like at the time they were still being kind of very super careful about that kind of stuff. There is a parent death. Zach's mom has passed away, and I do consider Zach one of the main characters. And then personally, I felt that Adam was always the choice for Vicky. They just, they just had a better connection, I think, especially because of the dolphins and how sweet they are. But Zachary did have some very sweet moments toward the end, and I did feel bad for him when he saw the hand-holding scene. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Zachary, you just got your heart a little broken a little bit, which made me sad. But also, the fact that Disney Channel did a movie where a girl is juggling two boys, which, I guess there's been storylines where a girl has juggled two boys before, but I don't know. I feel like this was on a different level because she was, macking on both of them multiple times. And I feel like we just haven't had it yet, I guess. So we'll see how that continues, the trend of juggling boys. But, like, not that that's a bad thing. I don't know about macking on two at the same time, but vice versa. Like, anyone macking on two people at the same time, I don't know how I feel about that. But, I'm not saying a girl can't juggle guys. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But I just thought it was like, oh, wow, Disney, we're taking a step. We're taking a step to love triangle territory. They haven't really, like, super done a love triangle where it's, like, the two, like, I think they've done where it's, like, person A likes person B likes person C, and person C likes person A. Like, they've done that kind of love triangle, I think. But they haven't done person A likes both person B and C, and person B and C like person A. So I don't think they've done that yet. But crazy. It was crazy to witness. And then the sadness when Grandpa died really got me. I almost cried, but I didn't, which was, I thought was weird that I didn't cry. But overall, I did have a good time watching this. I thought it was really well made. I liked Mischa, Ryan, and Jared a lot, and James. I thought they all did a really great job. But it's definitely, like, not your standard dcom, I feel like. I think it's one of those that, like, was a little bit more deep, or attempting to be deep and a little bit more serious, and maybe that's why it's not as popular. I think there are a lot of themes and lessons in this. I think a big one is the acceptance of death and moving on. I think trusting yourself and your talents and following, like, what your gut and what you want to do, and not everything in life has an explanation. And I think there's a lot of lessons in this movie. All things must come to an end. Stand up for what's right. Even if your dad is the one doing the wrong thing. Like, I think there's lots of amazing lessons. That's everything I have for Ring of Endless Light. My final rating is 6 dolphins out of 10. Our total movie count is... Our parent death toll is... Our cry count is still the same. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put up videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. Buy merch. Until next time, comment, like, and subscribe. If you're not in charge of your life, you are, so do you. And don't be Zachary's dad about it. Her grandfather tells her... What is wrong? Did Xander run?